Welcome to the Self-Growth Nerds podcast. I'm your host, Marie, a courage coach, creative soul, and adventure seeker. Since through hiking the Pacific Crest Trail in 2019, I'm on a mission to help you embrace your most confident self so you can achieve your dreams too. If you're eager for deep conversations, big questions, and meaningful connections, join me on the quest to discovering how we can create a more magical and memorable life. Hello, nerds! How are you? I'm good. Thank you for asking. Today, I want to talk about turning yourself on and how to go from passive consumer to active creator. Active creator with stars in your eyes and fire in your butt, and not in your butt, but you know what I mean. And like a driving force that just makes you feel wildly alive. Okay, so passive consumer versus active creator is a spectrum, right? I want us to look at this as a spectrum and ask yourself where you are on that spectrum. So on one end of the spectrum, there's the passive consumer, and that's what Tony Robbins, I'm not a big fan of Tony Robbins, but that's what he calls I'm not sure how he says it, but he says we live a life of boxes. So we wake up in a box, go to work in a box with wheels, then sit in a cubicle, which is also a box, looking into a box or computer, and then get back into a box to go back home in a box, watching TV, which is also a box. And when I heard that, I thought it was brilliant. That's like that's on one end of the spectrum of passive living. You just do your thing, go to work, pay your bills, watch TV, do it again, week after week, year after year, until you retire and kind of wait to die. Okay, that's one end of the spectrum. And then the other end of the spectrum is you wake up feeling like you have a purpose. You're excited to solve problems in a creative ways. Every time you come to a problem, you figure out a solution. You're excited about what you're doing, where you're going. You feel like you're on a meaningful mission, and that you are designing your life, creating your day-to-day, okay? From A to Z. You get to decide what you wear, what you do, when you work, where you live. You get to decide. You're in full control of what's going on around you. Or I shouldn't say full control. You don't control the people and the situation, but you're in full control of how you show up in your life. Okay? Important nuance. So where are you on this spectrum? What are the areas of your life that maybe you're more passive about, and where you need to take charge of your enjoyment or your fulfillment? So maybe you're like, oh, my job is okay. I don't know. Kind of want to be more excited, but I'm not sure how. I don't really know. Or like, oh, the place where I live, it's fine. Or my relationship, oh yeah, it's fine, you know. We have settled. Yeah, I mean, I know it could be better, but I don't know. So where are the areas of passivity in your life? And I want you to look at them and see how you could step into your visionary self. It's not your life's job to turn you on. It's your own. And what I mean by that, I'm going to make an analogy with a partner. If you have a partner, it's not their job to turn you on. I mean, they have their own responsibility in taking care of themselves, but ultimately you have no control over that. What you have control over is how you look at them. Are you going to just wait for them to do something, or are you going to pay attention? Oh, when they do that with their smile, I love it. Oh, when they're so funny, aren't they? Are you going to put on the sexiness glasses? Or are you going to wait for the excitement to come to you? Because that's what I see many people do. They just wait. They're like, I want to change job. Maybe that other job is going to be more exciting. Or there's no more passion between me and my partner. Maybe I just need to accept it or change partner. Or they cheat on their partner because there's more passion over there. Instead of being like, okay, how do I create passion here? Like, how can I look for what's going to turn me on? And that requires active creating on your part. If I want to be turned on by my partner, I have to get curious about the thoughts I have about them. If my thoughts are, they never wash the dishes, I have a choice. I can wait for them to wash the dishes and then be more likely to be turned on, or I can just switch gears and instead of letting my brain go there, actively choose what I want to think about them. What do I need to think in order to be turned on? What do I need to focus on? Because that's the thing. You think, there's nothing that's turning me on anymore. But it's not that it's not there. It's that you're choosing to put your focus somewhere else. So, what do I need to focus on when it comes to them to be turned on? Well, I want to focus on how good they look in that shirt, or I want to focus on like the blue of their eyes, or how confident they look with their friends. And I don't know, you get to decide, but it's not their job to turn you on. It's your own job to turn yourself on in every area of your life. And that's why I said put on the sexiness glasses. If you're bored at work, it's the same thing. You can wait for your boss to give you a project that you're going to like, or you can ask yourself, how do I create passion here? How do I need to look at this in order to feel passionate? And if we zoom out and just look at your life more generally, it's what do I want the meaning of my life to be? Instead of just going with the flow, what meaning is going to get me out of bed? I mean, everything is made up, right? Society is made up. Like the systems that we live in, the culture that we live in, it's all stories that give us a sense of meaning. So you get to decide, might as well tell a story that you love. So what's the story you want to tell about how you have lived your life when you're old? Some people like that, and that's why religion is so appealing. It's a story that's already written for you that you get to live by. But you get to write your own Bible. For me, I sign up to what Joseph Campbell calls follow the bliss. I want to follow the bliss. I want to go towards the fear to become the next evolution of who I am, because I know that whenever I go towards the fear, I'm going to grow, and I want to grow and see who I become. That's what turns me on. What turns you on? Because you can choose to focus on like nihilism. How do you say that in English? Nihilism, when you believe that we are all doomed. You can choose to focus on we are all doomed. Look at the state of the earth right now. Like, there is no point being optimistic. We're all gonna die. You can choose to believe that. It's not a matter of like what's true or not. We don't really know the truth. We don't really know how things are gonna pan out. Yes, we have like scientific studies that we can look at, but none of us can predict what's going to happen. So might as well choose a story that's going to get you out of bed. That's what I believe, and that's also what Viktor Frankl wrote about for his whole life. Viktor Frankl was an Austrian neurologist, psychiatrist, philosopher, writer, and a Holocaust survivor. And in his most popular book, Man's Search for Meaning, which I 100% recommend, he wrote, quote, "Depression, aggression, addiction are due to what is called in logotherapy the existential vacuum, a feeling of emptiness and meaninglessness." That's why we work on meaning in the first half of Brave and Bold, my program. We look for your purpose. And to me, your purpose is the impact that you were born to make. And when you fulfill that purpose, that's when you feel in total alignment with the person that you are at your core. That's when you feel like your true self and that you gain the most satisfaction from life. That's where your heart is in full bloom. That's what you were born to care about. And when you go all in on your purpose is when you feel the most alive. So we work on figuring out what your purpose is. And it's not like we take it out of nowhere. You've always known what your purpose is. You were born with that purpose, in my view of the world, right? That's just my view of the world. And so we dig into you to figure this out. And then we turn that into your next concrete mission. And your next concrete mission is, for example, part of my purpose. And, it's weird to put words to a purpose because it's bigger than words. But let's say I put mine into words is to help people step into their bravest self. So this I can do in many different ways, right? That's my concrete missions. I've worked for many summers in a summer camp, helping kids allow kids to be their wildest selves. That was one of my missions. Now, my current mission to fulfill my purpose is my program, is this podcast. And then maybe in the future, I'm going to write a book. Maybe I'm going to host retreats. Maybe I'm going to write children's books. Who knows? But they're all serving the same purpose. They're just different missions. Okay, they're different iterations of what it looks like in the real world to fulfill my purpose as a human being. There's another quote I love by Viktor Frankl, and he says, quote, "What man actually needs is not a tensionless state, but rather the striving and struggling for a worthwhile goal, a freely chosen task." And this makes me think about one of my clients who was bored at work. She was telling me how her boss didn't give her enough tasks to fill her hours, and so she spent a lot of time just not doing much, and she was really annoyed at wasting her time there. So she said, "I keep asking my boss, but there is not more work, so they're just telling me to, suck it up." So what I told her is, fill those hours on your own. Come up with a project or something. You are responsible for using your time in a way that turns you on. And so in the moment, she was a bit like, ouch, okay? Because we want other people to take care of that for us. In our ideal world, it's our manager who's like, okay, here's all the work to fill your hours. Here's stimulating work that you're going to enjoy. But we don't have control over other people. We only have control over ourselves. So when the other people are not doing what we want them to do, then we turn to us. So that's what I did with her. And what she ended up doing is signing up to a writing challenge and started writing a book. She's always wanted to write a book. And so that's what she's doing now. And that leaves her feeling stimulated and proud of herself. So if you're not pleased with what's in front of you, you can complain, or you can grab the wheel and decide where you're going. Now, 3 things to remember as an active creator. Number 1 is that indecision is not real. So this client of mine told me that she'd been wanting to write a book for years, but she always thought, I don't know what I want to write about. I don't have a subject. And I was the same for the longest time. I've always wanted to write a book, but I was like, I don't know what to write about. Indecision is so comfortable. It's so comfortable. It keeps us safe. And what I tell people when they're indecisive is just decide. Just decide. So my client, she just picked a subject, any subject really. Just pick one and go with it. Is it the best idea? Maybe not. That doesn't matter. Just decide and go all in. Then, number 2, ask better questions. Okay, instead of asking like, oh, is this a good idea? Is this going to work? Like, should I do this or should I do something else? These are all binary questions. Yes or no, this or that. I want you to ask more open questions that are going to wake your creativity up, that are going to tickle your curiosity. Questions like, how do I make this work? How can I approach this? What turns me on? And number 3, forget about the how. You don't need to have a 12-step program in front of you. Just declare what you want to do and take the next best step. My client doesn't need to know if she's going to finish her book and get it published. We don't care about that. She just needs to say, I'm writing a book, and the next step is to wake up tomorrow and write. Wake up the next day and write. Write a little bit every day. Doesn't even need to be good. Okay? So indecision is a great place to hide, and also focusing on the future and trying to fix problems that might arise in the future is also a great place to hide. So thinking about like, oh, is your book going to be good enough? Is anyone going to want to read it? Is it actually going to be published one day? This is a great place to hide. So stop hiding, start acting, okay? And if I wrap this up with the partner analogy, excitement when it comes to passion, let's say when it comes to a relationship, comes when there's not just when, but when there's a fear of loss. When we're afraid that we might lose the other person, we're turned on. Okay, that's just how it works. When we start dating someone, the uncertainty of their presence turns us on. The novelty turns us on because the definition of novelty is that, there's unknown. The unknown is exciting, scary as well, but exciting. You cannot have excitement without being scared. Excitement, by definition, comes with risk. You cannot be turned on if you're not willing to get hurt, okay? So you want to willingly put yourself in a situation where you can get hurt. Sounds silly, but that's the truth. And as long as you know that it's okay, you can be upset. You're willing to feel upset. You're willing to do hard things. You're willing to fail and fall flat on your face and feel embarrassed for the sake of feeling in love with life, turned on with yourself. So that's what I have to say this week. I want you to go get your heart broken, or go risk getting your heart broken, because that's the only way you're gonna feel deeply fulfilled. And if you want to be supported in this journey, this exciting yet scary journey, join us in my 6-month program, Brave and Bold, where everyone is on this same journey to actively creating a life that they're in love with. And, you don't need to be in a community of people who do this, but it does make the journey so much more fun and so much more lighthearted when you feel understood, when you feel supported by your peers, and also by me, who's always there to push you to become the person that you really want to be. I don't let you off the hook, and I always do so with love and conviction. All right, so if you want to learn more, just apply at selfgrowthnerds.com/brave and bold, and I'll send you more information about what this entails. All right, that's it for this week. Go turn yourself on and stop waiting for others to take care of that for you, okay? Have a beautiful week. Bye-bye. You just listened to the Self-Growth Nerds podcast. Make sure to subscribe and to find me on Instagram at Self-Growth Nerds. If you want individual help developing the confidence to create a more meaningful and exciting life, visit selfgrowthnerds.com today to learn how. Finally, I want to thank my friend Etienne Galano for editing this, and I want to thank you, kind-hearted souls, for growing into your truest, most courageous selves every day and making this world a better, more beautiful place. My name is Marie, and I will talk to you next week.